live.
Hello and welcome to the Warhammer Meta Chasers. My name is Paul, your host. I'm joined by the man, the myth, the sunglasses, Adam Camilleri.
G'day.
And the mogul, Dustin Henshaw.
Oh, you look so good. Hey, everybody.
How's everybody doing this evening? This is our first show of the new year, right? I mean, it's January 4th. So,
yeah, that's the first show of the new year where we actually get to cover some events again, which is exciting.
Back on track with the events. Welcome everyone in the chat. If you listen to this after the fact, we do this live each and every Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern time. If you caught our last shows, are a little bit different than this one will be. We'll be back to our normal fare of looking at the meta, looking at the tournaments, looking at the factions and everything that we're going to see there. Got two great events to cover for you. If you did catch us on the last show and you're wondering how my New Year's resolution is going, well, I have two different bowls of cheese dip in the fridge, so not very well.
Nice.
I'm the opposite. We're 4 days into the new year. I've gone to the gym every day so far. I'm on track. So far, so
Well
good.
done.
4 days in, only 361 to go.
And look, what about you,
I'm
Adam?
not making any fashion statements with these glasses. I am fighting off a migraine right now, and the lighting necessary to produce this visage is making my head throw up. So I've chucked on some sunnies. So there we go.
It's a new look, man. You gotta be bold.
That's it.
You gotta own it as we move into this new year. Your future's so bright. Warhammer Meta Chasers gotta wear shades.
That's it. Yeah, we all have to now. And then we just read everything poorly because, like, what does that say?
Yeah.
Huh?
Oh, exactly. 362. It's a leap year. Downvoting people. Well, I can't do that. I was planning for 361.
Really? Is this a leap year?
I guess so. Unless you
think
just lied
so.
to us.
No, I think it is, right?
Is it?
Yeah.
I can never keep track of the leap years.
I
don't
think
pay
it is.
attention
We're
to
coming
it.
up. We're coming up. So all you February 29th babies out there, happy birthday or happy upcoming birthday. I think this is
Happy birthday, yeah.
All right. So the two great events we're going to be talking about is the Denver 40K Fight Club and the Exterminatus 8 Rise of the Noodle.
Don't ask.
We got to ask later on, though. That's the second event we're covering. This is the first event of, at least that we're covering, of the new year in Denver. I have to assume Colorado here in the U.S. 80 player 6-round event. Dustin, what are we going to see there?
We are going to be seeing the Imperial Super Faction. There are 2 Sisters of Battle, 1 Custode, 3 Admech, 6 Astra Militarum, 1 Imperial Knight. Space Marines are 6 Adeptus Astartes, 4 Dark Angels, 4 Space Wolves, 1 Death Watch, and 4 Black Templar. Chaos are 7 Chaos Space Marines, 2 T-Suns, 8 Death Guard, 3 World Eaters, 1 Demon, and 3 Chaos Knights. Xenos, there's 7 Necrons, 4 Orcs, 2 Tau, 2 Votan. Hive Mind, there's 1 Tyranid and 1 Gene Stealer Cult. Eldari, there's 3 Drukhari and 4 Eldari, meaning the faction podium is Death Guard in first with 8. Necrons
Wow.
CSM in second with 7. That's not too surprising. But then Astartes and Astra Militarum in third with 6. What is going on in Denver?
Yeah, I don't know what is going on in Denver. The Astra Militarum numbers are up this week. So are Adeptus Mechanicus numbers. But as for Death Guard, I have no idea what is going on there.
Is it just, I mean, because we have seen them being played, and there's been like new takes on the combinations of what like knights and demons to include in there. Do we think that maybe that's given them, a few more legs in the events?
I looked through a bunch of the Death Guard list, and I didn't find anything especially surprising in what I had there. I have pulled out a Death Guard list from our second event because I found that one quite a little bit spicy. But it's just people are finding the value of Plague Marines. I believe they're like, Plague Marines are very good, very well pointed, and I do have a good access to one of the best allies in the game, Nurglings. I slot straight in there. They're one of the best allies in the game, and they find their place very well because in that list, because there is no real infiltrating forward pressure that you can apply early with Death Guard. Otherwise, in fact, in some missions you can't even get to the middle to do like investigate signals or data scry and stuff like that without something like Nurglings in your list. So I do, or it's extremely detrimental. Well, I'm going to throw out 10 Plague Marines to get me these couple of points here, and then you get absolutely blown off the table.
Well, is it 10 or are they finding that value in like the 7 because they're one of the the factions you don't have to take the full complement?
Funnily enough, I haven't seen many 7s recently, either 5s or 10s, and there's more. I'm going to say there's more 5s than 10s out this weekend, but
Okay.
we will see. I like the 5-mans. I think the 5-mans are a good point for utility, and plus you can get your heavy hitting in some other places for Death Guard now as well. There are a lot of PBCs out and about though, like a lot.
Very, very interesting. And then maybe that has some speaking to why the Chaos Knights are where they are. Like those players that have Chaos Knights are maybe going towards these other armies that get them as allies. But the Votan being it too, that's kind of surprising too, because I think we've seen them on the rise.
Yeah, Votan absolutely on the rise for the last couple of months. It's actually taking a little bit of a dip, along with Tau, who was in pretty good stead as well. And then also, I'd like to note that the Hive Mind is an absolute doldrums here in Denver. It's total of 2, 1 for each of Tyranids and Genestealer cults. So yeah, they're not doing too great.
We got some allies and fans of the Denver Fight Club crew there in the chat. And also, KR says has to miss it, unfortunately, because some prior commitments this weekend. He's not the Custodes player there. And of course, Nurgle Matt throwing up some Nurgling hype. Can't fault him there at all.
No, of course not.
Jumping
the best
into
the game right now.
Yes, jumping to some of the best and top players in attendance, we have Sisters, Tyranids, and Necrons for your viewing pleasure. Of course, the first of which is Colin K, with what I believe is pretty close to the best Sisters list that I think you can run at the moment. This is Hallowed Midas, of course, Dialogist and Morven Vile, Palatine with the Bladus and Eleanor, because why would you not? A Preacher with Saintly Example, and then the Triumph of St. Catherine. Now, that is the one that people put in, take out, put in, take out. It is quite a few points. You can get quite a few units for not taking the Triumph.
I've seen so many people painting that recently, though, so they got to be onto something, and it has to be doing some stuff in the game.
It's an absolute value machine if you can make it work for you. 10 Sisters of Battle, 2 Rhinos, the full complement of 30 Arco-Flagellants, 3x10, 3 units of 2 Crusaders, because they're ridiculous value once again, a single unit of 2 Death Cult Assassins, triple Exorcist, the 3 Paragon Warsuits to, of course, go with Morven Vile, a Vindicare, and a Calidus. And that is one of the first times I've seen a Vindicare this edition.
Yeah, that's actually surprising. But the Vindicare is one of those units that it's very hard to get its value, I find. It's used more of like a zoning piece or just a lone op, because lone ops are great. Right?
Yeah.
Get a corner of the board and like...
Yeah. Like just actually killing something or doing damage with them is... That's the bonus, really, because even if you do get the chance to target something, you're gonna miss. It's always it's a hunter killer. It's a hunter killer assassin.
The damage is so variable. What do we got?
Yeah.
We got 1 shot hitting on 2s, strength 7 -3, D3 +3 damage. Dev wounds, ignores cover, heavy precision. So cool. You can hit on 1s, I guess, if you stand still. But of course, Infiltrator, Lone Op, and Stealth is, I believe, the reason you take this guy.
Yeah, for sure. The only, I love this list. This list is incredible too. The only thing I worry about is not having Castigators in a mirror match. The Castigators make a big difference.
Yeah. We have seen the single Castigator a lot, haven't we, Paul?
Yeah, actually it's been a mainstay for almost 6-8 months now at this point, the single Castigator. He can hang back. He's got a good shooting profile, I think, but also gives you that long-range firepower from all the way back across the table that you can maybe hang out on an objective, maybe act as a screen, and then maybe get some quality shots off.
Yeah, so in this list, the only real question mark is if you wanted to know what just an ace hot Sisters list looks like at the moment, take out the Vindicare, put a question mark next to the Triumph of St. Catherine, and then just roll with it, because this is an extremely well-rounded list. It's got a bit of everything. Triumph of St. Catherine is good if you are good enough at Sisters to make it work. Otherwise, it can kind of be a little bit of a paperweight. It's also a very big base to maneuver around the table, can make its way all the way through this wall.
Bring the snacks, bring the armor, bring the swords. You can
bring the snacks.
You can do it.
Fair. Well, on to the next list. This is
Downvote says Vindicare when you've got 80 points left over, which
80 points.
It is 80 points, but at the same time, like what fits in that slot, better than that lone ops who were in like the other rules that we're talking about.
Well, that's exactly right, because to my knowledge, there are no lone ops actually in Sisters, are there?
I don't think
I have any lone ops. Yeah,
I don't think
so. Literally bringing 2 when you could otherwise have none, that's probably just a good enough value proposition.
For sure. Trying to think of the Death Cult Assassins or whatever. I don't know. Did they?
I don't think they do. No.
No, I don't believe they do. Please correct us in chat or in comments if we do get that wrong. But I don't think there are any. And so yeah, just taking 2, especially when this list has like a ridiculous amount of MSU in it. It's three units, 2 Crusaders, the 2 Death Cult Assassins in there, and then the 2 Lone Ops, in addition to a bunch of characters that could be here, there, and everywhere. A couple of Rhinos. This just has a lot of board presence already. So Lone Op might just be the cherry on top.
Signal might be, maybe. Well, I don't know.
Sorry. Oh yeah.
No,
Yeah. Stern and Kygonal.
That's the chat helping us out. So if you're listening to us after the fact, no, we have this that great chat committee I was talking about. They're starting to file in. Happy New Year to everyone that's just joining us, that just made it in a few minutes late, or if you sort of skip to this part of the show and listen to this part. Happy New Year. So this chat helping us out in the background.
Appreciated. Celestine doesn't. Triumph. Demifuge. I am just quickly scrolling down to Stern and Kygonal.
Trying to find the Lone Ops.
Nah. Okay, who can be bothered? They don't have any. If they did, it gets deleted now.
Yeah,
we know by now if they
you don't have any. If you tell us you do it a game now, we know you're lying.
Nah, lies. Next up, we have Matt Evans with Tyrannid. This is an invasion fleet detachment. I'm going to let Dusty take it away.
Going with the old tried and true invasion fleet.
Invasion fleet, I love it. All right, so we've got Death Leaper, Hive Tyrant, Neuro Tyrant, 2 Winged Primes. Is he bringing warriors? Biovore, 2 Exocrines, 3 Maleceptors, 3 Neurolictors, 2x1 Pyrovores, and yeah, there they are, 2x6 melee warriors. An invasion fleet. That's interesting.
Yeah, I actually really like this list when I looked at it. I thought it was quite well rounded. He has stated on his list that this is probably what he's taking to LVO also. So he's calling his shot that this is good enough to go to the big dance. What do you make of it, Dusty? What do you see as the big draws here? What's going to be working for him, not working for him? But what's the modus operandi?
Well, the Maleceptors are just they are the best thing in this list. And Exocrines, you bring 2 to 3 every list because they're mad value for their points. But the Maleceptors and Invasion Fleet are so good. They're good at everything just because -1 to hit, -1 to wound if you're near them too. It's so good. But my big thing is the 2x6 Warriors and Invasion Fleet. I don't get that. Because
Dorian just asked the same things. Like, why Warriors and
yeah,
Invasion?
Because
you want Tyranny Primes.
Yep. I mean, you could take those and put them with gargoyles then if you want to do that. No gargoyles is also a little surprising too.
I was like, well, there aren't any gargoyles here.
Yeah. So there's the real interesting thing here is the entire lack of little bugs. This thing is pushing a very big, thick skew.
It is. And I will say that in Invasion Fleet, the melee warriors having access to a 5-up feel no pain like old school Catalyst is good. That is definitely helpful. And they still punch well above their weight for their points. Melee warriors do hit hard. They don't have the access to any of the +1 to hit they do in like the Synapse or Vanguard, which is the reason you take them in those ones. So lethal hits is good, but they're twin linked anyway. So I mean, like, yeah, it's an interesting pick. I'm curious to see how these work out for them because I think the main reason to take them in Invasion Fleet is for defensive.
What's the Neurotyrant doing here? Because as far as I can tell, it can't join any of these units.
No, you always take a Neurotyrant if you just want the -1 leadership when you do the Shadow in the Warp, really.
Shadow in the Warp. Yeah. Exactly right. Apart from that, is there any reason that you think in this current meta that we're in that multi-wound high toughness would be a good place to be?
Depending on what the meta is like there. And if you're looking at it.
When is multi-wound high toughness not a good place to be? I was like, what is that?
Yeah, he's calling his shot for LVO with this one. So it's going to be a very open field. Lots of everything will be in attendance. Looking at Eldar and looking at CSM, which are the 2 big dogs in the meta at the moment, I don't know if this goes that well into them or if this skew works that well into them.
The Eldar it does kind of work into. It does work into them. The CSM do 5 Chosen and a Chaos Lord kill a Maleceptor? Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Good. Well, that's a big place to be. Okay. That's a huge deal, right?
Yeah,
because they basically kill everything.
Especially again in Invasion Fleet, they'll have access to the 5-up feel no pain. So if they need it to live, chances are it will live.
Yeah, that's huge, and that's pretty much what I was getting at. Are there things in here that will be good into the top dogs?
Yeah.
In addition,
go ahead.
The big lever being pulled here is 4 Lone Ops, Death Leaper, 3 Neurolictors, 4 Lone Ops. So if this wants to play cagey, stuff around in the middle of the table, not really non-committal game, it really can play that very well.
It can, for sure. I mean, If I'm being honest, Death Leaper and 3 Neurolictors is ubiquitous in any single Tyranid list, just for that exact reason.
Yeah.
Now, the big thing with this one, because the Maliceptors can take the first brunt of it, because the melee warriors do die pretty easily when they're targeted, but they are an amazing countercharge unit. Amazing countercharge unit.
Yep.
So if he's got to have the Maliceptors up front against something like CSM Chosen come in, and I will say too, the Forge Fiends have a lot of trouble getting through a mouse that they will not kill one. They won't.
Okay.
Like almost guaranteed, unless they get really lucky with dev wounds. Like really lucky. Even then, if I don't feel no pain, yeah, no, they don't kill it. What am I talking about? They just don't. They just don't kill it. They have to get lucky.
Nice. It's a great place to be.
It is.
All right, jumping down to the last list in attendance that we're going to be covering, Brett Perkins with the Necrons. This is a Canoptic Court. I don't know if I have I will get the Cron's Codex up quickly to the Canoptic Court so we can talk about these enhancements, because these are brand new. And very few of us will actually know what any of these enhancements do. So I've got those up for us quickly. We have a Chronomancer with the Metalodermal Tesla weave. I just like to think that he's got a nice hairdo.
That's what it is.
His hair done. Yeah. A nice Tesla hairdo. Illuminor Caesaris, Imatech the Stormlord, Overlord with Translocation Shroud, a Plasmancer, 2 Technomancers, one with the Dimensional Sanctum, and then 30 Immortals, 2 units with Tesla, 1 with Gorse, 3 Canoptic Doom Stalkers, 1 Reanimator, only a single unit of Wraiths, but then 2 units of 5 Death Marks and 2 units of 3 Tombblades. So this list is functioning off the Doomstalkers and Immortals doing the heavy lifting, while I guess it's got a response force of Wraiths and then Death Marks and Tombblades to play the midboard and play for the points. But this is a little bit more off the beaten track, and I wanted to highlight that Canoptic Court is not just Unga Bunga 18 Wraiths. It does have more depth to it than that.
Going with Imatech here, the Stormlord, to help give those command point fuel. I mean, that's the battery, right? Imatech used to be taken in a lot of less super powerful character, kind of like the foil lore-wise to the Silent King.
Yeah, so Imatech was the big kingpin of the Necrons, essentially the largest dynasty before the Stormlord, before the Silent King cracked up, and wasn't too happy when this happened. So the 2 enhancements here, Dimensional Sanctum is the infiltrate ability, so we'll have infiltrate almost definitely attached to the race, I'd put like 99.9% of the time, and then the other one is the Metalodermal Tesla weave, which is just
those mortals.
It's just nice to have. Once per phase, when an enemy unit selects the bearer's unit as a charge, they can take some mortal wounds. So it's just I had a few points left. Slap it on, see how you go.
But yeah, how per phase? I mean, so it's just like you're dishing out potentially free mortals every time you find yourself in that situation, and you might find yourself in that situation. I think it's a good investment at 10 points.
I think it's fine. If you've got 10 points left, you're not going to get another unit for 10 points. Slap it on there. Why not? The bigger reason here for the Stormlord, of course, is that 2 CP strat that really helps pop off the Immortals, right? It gives them the Dev Wounds for 2 CP. And of course, the Stormlord's going to be giving you an extra one every turn. So he is very key to keeping this thing functioning at top clip, at top level, 100% output. Dustin, you played against Necrons yet?
I've played against them several times for sure. And in fact, a very similar list to this too. I've actually found that the Immortals aren't worth investing 3 units in. I like 1 with the Chrono to shoot and scoot.
Yep.
But the Plasmamancer one it does more damage reliably. I just find that a lot of the time the Immortals will come in, kill something, and then die unless they can shoot and scoot, right? Because that is a unit that you target, and the fact that you can only really do that,
especially after it does what it does,
exactly.
Your opponent that this is the problem.
Even if you don't know what Immortals do, they do it to you once. Like, oh, okay,
that's what it is.
So I think it's really good. It's just you have to be very careful with those Immortals, because they, especially in this list, are very key to it. With only 1 unit of race, you only have the 1 really threatening countercharge unit, because as I was pointing out in the chat, like there are no Satans in this either, which gives them a lot of extra points. But you got to make sure you use these pieces pretty carefully. Then that's the thing. It will surprise people with how much damage it can do, though.
So the Overlord with Translocation Shroud, that's the Auto 6 Advance, is that right?
I want to say yes.
Is that what it gives? Someone correct me if I'm wrong. So that gives you that shoot and scoot reach, yeah? So you
if you're behind something, you move up further, and then
Yeah. Gives you the extra reach to get across to reach your threat range across the table, and then if you want
Yeah.
scoot forward into a better position for next turn, or jump back out of range again. Really good tech there. The
Yeah.
Doomstalkers.
Doomstalker.
What do we think about them?
I actually fought against 3 of them in a list recently. I think they're if I'm thinking of the right ones, they're the ones with the 5-up Overwatch too, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah. They actually have a lot more play than I think a lot of people realize. They can dish out some really good end range damage, which is something that
Yeah.
Necrons do struggle with. Originally it was all the Doomsday Arcs are doing it, but what they got pointed out into the sun, like there's no
Yeah.
real value in taking them right now. But the Doomstalkers, they could do the same thing for cheaper.
And they get great return for the army buff for the
Yes.
reroll to hit from being in the power matrix.
Yes.
So I think they're pretty good.
It's
also
actually really good for that.
I just love how tall they are. It's both a detriment and a boon for touching getting on a terrain piece and seeing down here, there, and everywhere.
Well, I mean, they're actually not that easy to
also a
kill
downside.
either. So it's great, and you're absolutely right pointing out that the reroll it hits when you're in your own power matrix because their range and everything. Their main detriment that they were not taking over Doomsday Arcs is because they hit on 4s naturally. They're heavy, so if you stand still, you hit on 3s. But if they're rerolling all their hits, that's fine.
And they can kind of get clogged up if you have a bunch of other vehicles and stuff to block them off in your own deployment zone. That doesn't exist in this list, and so
nope, it does not.
Exactly right. It's just a pity that they're so weak to oxygen, so that they do break down. They will lose the war of worlds at times.
I mean, well, wow.
We got it.
You know what? I can't even point it out to people. I'm not doing it. I'm sorry. Go watch World of Worlds and look at the model of the Doomstalker.
Amazing.
This is the point in the show where we pick a faction or a player we think is going to win the whole thing. We actually rank ourselves on how well we did with our predictions. Not a pick, it's not a guess. It's a prediction about what we think is going to win. Either player or the list. Of course, we'll figure out one or the other after the list is picked to see who's going to win it. And last month, I think I took down the highest point for predictions. Dustin was on a bit of a tear before that.
He needed to be stopped.
Yeah.
I think you won 3 or 4 in a row previous to that.
I think it was 4.
It's a new year, baby.
Yeah,
it's 4. Yeah, I'm the champion of 2023. We'll just call that.
Slate is clean.
Move from there.
At this point, going into the other things, but we actually on the for the Patreon subscribers, we actually do a follow-up show to each and every one of these shows, to where we do talk about the top 10 list. We talk about dive into detail about some of the lists that are present there that we don't cover on this show, and we do our same thing, talking about making revving each other up a little bit. Part of that was some points. So consider doing that if you haven't done that already. It's a fun time. We do that every week also as a bit of just a catch up on the weekend about things we're talking about. But with all that being said, who's going to win this? I think I'll pick first if that's all right with everybody.
Yep, I say the winner of the last one definitely gets to pick first. You go.
Yeah, I'll jump on that for now. It's so tough. Because the factions are all spread out, I'm gonna go Astartes. I'm just gonna take that.
Not a bad pick.
It's a good
Dustin,
pick.
you want to go next?
Sure, I'm taking Sisters.
Ooh, nice. I'm gonna be lame and go Chaos Space Marines.
Yeah.
You're hungry for those points.
Only one who hasn't won one in the last 3. So let's
January is your month, buddy.
That's
we
it.
have LVO in this month, right? So obviously that's the one.
The first Legion, the first chapter, the first month. It's it. It's in the window. It's it.
Oh, right. Okay.
The first Legion is Dark Angels.
Yeah.
You got it. You got it.
Oh, okay.
I think. Wait, did I miss something?
Oh, wait a second.
You did it.
I'm over here. Got a pen and a paper out. I'm like, what's going on?
All right.
Next event we're covering is the Exterminatus 8 Rise of the Noodle from Wagga Wagga, New South Wales, Australia. That's some stuff I didn't plan on saying today.
Wait, okay, so Rise of the Noodle, Wagga Wagga is the name of the place too?
Correct. It's the town. It's a city called Wagga Wagga.
What? Is it an orc town?
I mean, essentially, it's most of Australia is orc towns.
Oh, I'm okay.
Have you seen Mad Max? That's it.
It's
It's all of it.
76 players, 5-round event, starting out strong there in Wagga Wagga.
Let's see what they're going to be bringing in. Wagga. Imperial Superfaction, there's 1 battle, 2 Custodes, 1 Admech, 9 Astro Militarum. Oh, wow. 2 Grey Knights, 3 Imperial Knights. Space Marines, there's 8 Adeptus Astartes, 3 Dark Angels, 1 Space Wolf, and 1 Black Templar. Chaos, there's 2 Chaos Space Marines, 3 T-Suns, 2 Death Guard, 2 World Eaters, 6 Demons, and 4 Chaos Knights. Xenos, there's 3 Necrons, 2 Orcs, 3 Tau, 3 Votan. That's pretty evened out. Hive Mind, there is 8 Tyranids and 1 Genius to their cult. There always just seems to be 1 Genius to their cult at every event.
That's correct.
Same one. It's the same player.
Same one, yeah.
Pulling down a lot of work.
Eldari, there's 1 Drukhari and 4 Eldari, which means the faction podium here is Astra Militarum in first with 9, Astartes and Tyranids in second with 8, Demons in third with 6. What is the meta this weekend? Is this just everybody's like, you know what, new year? Whatever.
Play what you want to play.
Play what you want to play.
Look, my country is weird and I love it, is the hashtag underneath the faction podium. Because when I was doing these stats, I was like, what the hell? Like,
what?
Can I even cover this event? This perception that people have of Australia, that we're backward, that we're down under, that we're just wonky, absolutely is true. So there was 1 Tyranid in Denver. There are 8 here.
Yeah.
I don't know why there was 8 Astra Militarum over there, by the way, but there's 9 here. There's a phenomenal amount of guard. Treadheads are all coming out of the woodwork. But demons on the podium? Like a bottom 5 faction being on the podium in Australia is buck wild. And
Could
I'm
be
here
some
for
terrain choices there. We haven't talked about that recently. Is that the terrain choices and having some idea of what the terrain you're going to encounter also does influence sometimes what army people bring.
I'm curious of what you think actually demons would benefit from terrain wise, because I'm struggling to figure out which one they were looking for. Because if they're looking for open terrain because they have a lot of big monsters that can charge stuff, they don't want to fight any like heavy shooty armies.
Oh, not Tyranids. Yeah, no,
I'm talking about demons.
I'm sorry. Demons. No, I think the Astra Militarum and everything off the charts here.
Oh,
the other factions.
Yeah. They Astra Militarum is a good pick for any terrain, really, because if it's open terrain, they could shoot everything. If it's not open terrain, they can shoot everything. So I mean, it's pretty. It works pretty well for them, right? They have great infantry options, great scoring options, the best indirect in the game right now. So I think they're actually a solid army, and in my opinion, a top list for any team event for sure.
So the Astra Militarum technology is coming a long way. People have started to really glue onto Bulgrin and Melter Mines. Melter Mine Cassidy.
I knew it. I called it before you even said it.
The word. I was about to say Tempest Signs. I'm like, they're not them. They're the other ones. But yeah, they really started gluing
the
to
amount
some
of tricks you can do with Melter Mines, guys. Like, I bring them as allies sometimes. They are juicy.
There is some cool technology there. So for the first, how far are we into this edition? We are 7 months, give or take?
7-ish.
And for that first 7 months, people were like, I can't play guard because we can't. There's like 3 missions where we don't get any points for playing the artillery list, which is our best list. And now finally the technology is starting to catch up with the way the missions are played. And people are starting to get a lot more assets into their army that play the middle of the table. The artillery brigade that you did see, which was, Earthshaker batteries, Manticore batteries, and then true Manticores, Basilisks, and all that stuff has been reduced down to a compact 3 Manticores, 1 Basilisk as the standard that you will see amount of artillery. So it's not too much, but it's enough to still be oppressive-ish and to still, win games if you need to play kind of a hold-back static kind of style in that mission. But then you need to have like a good 800 points that can go push the middle. Otherwise, you just cannot keep up in points.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know about that package, because that's kind of a tough thing to get. It's like when if you pack in too much and then you don't need it, you can't score the points, then you've got 500 points in your list that are not as optimized as you thought they were going to be, because the game is not just about launching shells over the terrain.
Yeah. Well,
Exactly right.
Astro Militarum 2 is one of the deepest codexes out there by on its own, right? So they have a lot of different options. They can bring a lot of infantry tanks. Like the things they can do, they have a lot of options. And it doesn't surprise me that it will take people a little bit of time to figure out, okay, what's actually good in the current meta, what's actually good for the missions I can still score, still do my damage. Because always, I feel like every edition, when the Astro Militarum book hits or whenever you can play new Astro Militarum, everybody tries the Adeline Site parking lot first. They try it because this is usually what's good.
It's worked in the past.
Worked in the past. Like, so let's just do it again and see if it's still working or if I have to add some other things in here. Casterkin are amazing though. I love those. I've actually seen a lot of the horses come in too. Why can't I think of the Rough Riders? I've seen a lot of Rough Riders too. Yeah. Just for like early pressure to even zone block people so they can just score some early points while having artillery fire at them. Like there's a lot of tech that Astro Militarum can get.
Out of curiosity, asking for a friend. How many Rough Riders do you think is like the sweet spot for those? Because I actually haven't seen a lot of those.
Really? It depends on the kind of list you're bringing. If you want to go full pressure, I feel like 2 full squads is the way to go. Just so
2 10s. I've only seen 5s personally.
5s is
one or 2 5s.
All you need, but if you bring 5s, you need 3 of them.
Fair, okay.
Because generally they're there to move, block, pin, or hold. But pinning, you're usually going for the 10-mans, right? So
if you're taking any infantry or lower toughness compared to the tanks and stuff you can bring in Astro Militarum, it's all about like you're trading off.
Absolutely.
You don't get attached to any of them. Don't name any of those models.
Don't name them. No, don't name Astro Militarum models. Don't do that.
But that's okay. That's okay. That's the style the game is being played in right now, by the way. Yeah. So it's going to happen. So what's next?
So I pulled out 3 of the top players in attendance. First of which is a good mate of mine, Joshua Brody. I played on with a teams event with this lovely gentleman a couple of weeks ago. He's playing Adeptus Astartes with Ultramarines. He's got a Vanguard Spearhead. He's got his own take on essentially what everyone's been calling, the Lenin Spearhead that went so well at World Championships in November. He's got Marnius Kalgar, Apothecary Biologist with Blade-Driven Deep, of course. Librarian in Phobos Armor with the Shadow War Veteran upgrade. 6 aggressors, 3 units of 5 assault intercessors with jump axe. Now this is his addition to this list. This is his hot take.
I don't mind that.
3. I like it a lot actually. There's 3 MSU small units that can do okay in combat. They're not that impressive, but they're fine. 6 Devastator Centurions with las cannons, 2 units of 3 Inceptors, naturally a unit of infiltrators to go with the Librarian, 2 units of 5 Scouts, 2 Whirlwinds, and the Callous Assassin. So this list has just all the jank. So many units can go on and off the table. The only thing I actually need to double check if I missed, because I just realized this list doesn't have Ventress in it.
Oh, Uriel Ventress. That's the character.
Doesn't have Uriel Ventress in it. So maybe it's in there and I just forgot to write it down. But I actually really like this. I like the addition of Shadow War Veteran in here as well. If you guys don't know, that is another Vect-like effect, as in it will make a stratagem cost more CP. So he has 2 of those in this list, which I think is extremely punitive to some lists.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you are like playing against Eldari and you already, lock down their Phantasm and you get another thing that you can lock down for them, then some of their tricks dry up real fast.
Yeah, agreed. I think it's a really cool take on the list. How do you guys see it though? Like, do you think this is?
Well, I'm gonna go to the Assault Intercessors.
A little bit worse.
Is that they also can take like a couple plasma pistols and you take a power fist or something in there. They're not, they may not have a lot of attacks because of just the number of models, but they can do quality things when they're there, and then they're also that fast-moving Marine body.
No, I don't believe he has Uriel Ventress in this list.
Look,
looking at it again. Yeah,
definitely doesn't. Centurions cost a lot of points, and if you start getting tricky with some of the other stuff,
it's true. Yeah. And I mean, so the trick is with the Devastator Centurions, of course, Uriel Ventress gives them deep strike at the start of the game, and then for 1 CP, you take them off the table at the end of your opponent's fight phase, and they come back, in your deep strike turn, and they just appear anywhere, get an angle, blow things up. Possibly he knows that the terrain here will be good enough that just them walking on from strategic reserve is enough for them to get angles. He doesn't need a deep strike, so he's going to save the points because he has a lot of MSU here.
And the Whirlwinds.
He's got 3 units of assault intercessors. 2 units of scouts, unit of infiltrators. Yeah, the Whirlwinds are an interesting addition as well. I have played a few Whirlwind lists lately, mostly in the Ironstorm, but I can see why in the Vanguard they're pretty cute as well. And of course, more
I
damage,
mean,
more better, right?
being able to hang out, have something you don't even care about, to maybe sit in the corner and do something while you're distracting all the folks with everything in the middle. Like there's a lot of mid-board and even your opponent's deployment zone pressure out of this list, and you know, being able to kind of not have to babysit something hanging out in the back is not bad. And you could do like a real cool zone with the two whirlwinds and the Calidus
Yeah.
all back there. You can cover a lot of
Yep.
real estate that could really block off your opponent from trying to get back there and mess with you.
Exactly right. And then you got infiltrators. I love the infiltrators. I in my head, I keep trying to make and in my app, I keep trying to make lists with 2 or 3 infiltrators with the Phobos librarians. So you got 2 lone op deep strike denial units that in this list for 1 CP, when you try and charge them, just bunk it 6 inches in the other direction automatically. It can get really frustrating for a lot of armies to try and come to grips with them, and then they just zone off a phenomenal amount of the
Interesting
table as
take.
well. So
I mean, I think he's made some
interesting
gambles
take.
here to like get in the mind of his, kind of get in the head of his opponent, and we'll see if how it works out.
Yeah, the big gamble for me is the no Ventress for the Devastator sense. So it's going to be up to him skill wise to make sure he has the angles he needs, and can make use of those Devastator Centurions from the table edge instead of the deep strike. All right. Next up, we have another lovely gentleman, Alexander Inglesios, who is one of the Art of War coaches for Adeptus Mechanicus. He's Adeptus Mechanicus specialist, one of the 3 in the world, and he's got his Skitarii hunter cohort, and this is just an absolute horde. He's got 3 marshals, one with the Battlesphere uplink, one with Clandestine Infiltrator, and one with Veiled Hunter. Don't ask me what those do. I might look it up for you. 10 rangers. Max Vanguard, so 6 units of 10 Vanguard,
Wow.
4 Dune Rider transports, 2 units of 5 Sky Stalkers, max Taraxi Sterilized, so that's a full complement of 3 units of 10, 3 units of 3 Cerberus Raiders, 5 Infiltrators, a Calidus Saxon, and Caria Draxus. So this is just so many guys. We are talking about what?
This is an AdMech list. This is an AdMech list I would play. I love this.
But dude, my issue with this is that this looks like a guard list to me. I look at it, I'm like, this is just like a guard.
It looks like a GSC list to me, man. I'm actually loving this.
That too. You're absolutely right. The 3 enhancements, Clandestine Infiltrator is the bearer and models in any unit they are leading have Infiltrate and Scout 6, which is just the best. So that is the best version of that enhancement in the game. Because just about every other one of them either gives you Scout or gives you Infiltrate. This one gives you both. So against World Leaders, you just Scout 9 inches away from them, completely block off their Scout. Sorry, Infiltrate 9 inches away from them, completely block off their Scout move. And if they go first, you Scout 6 inches away. You just bank it 6 inches back, directly away. It's genius. So strong. Veiled Hunter is the other one. After both players have deployed their armies and determined who goes first, you can select up to 3 Skitarii infantry units from your army and redeploy them. Beautiful. Putting them in strategic reserve if you wish. And then the last one, Battlesphere uplink. In the shooting phase, after the bearer's unit has shot, if it was not within engagement range of one of my enemy units, it can make a normal move of 6 inches. So
it is a GSC list.
Good lord, those are 3 premium enhancements.
Wow. Yep. This is if I play AdMech at any point, this is the kind of list I'd run. I love it. Yeah.
I think this list is extremely good.
Kara in the chat says Caria Draxus is in every Custodes list they make, and when you go look up some abilities is to figure out why. That's the Inquisitor with the dragon on their arm.
I love dragons.
And the filthy Eldar weapon. Then actually gets away with that one.
Yep. So also Xenos Hunter, Psychic Veil has some things, and then I got the what's the ranged weapon you're talking about?
She's got a catapult, doesn't she?
The dirge
thing.
Catapult. Yeah. Yep. The Shuriken Catapult, like an old school model throwback.
Shuriken Catapult. Wow.
Yeah.
Got a dragon and a Shuriken Catapult and arm and power armor.
I mean, the civilians of the Eldar race hold those, so it's not that impressive, to be honest.
The gardeners, the farmers. But for some reason, edition after edition, they're like the second most dangerous unit in the game.
It's true. They shoot ninja stars out of their guns. All right, that's pretty cool. Let's be real.
It is pretty cool. Can't argue with that.
This list has a lot of very, very spicy things it can do. It's got advance and charge access. It's got 5-up feel no pain access. It's got run away, move away, and I think lone op access, lone op stratagem as well, if I remember correctly. Shroud protocols. Yes, is lone up access. This is a very janky list, and he has so many units to enact these janky positional things on. The sterilizers are really undervalued. They just put out a ridiculous amount of flamer firepower. And funnily enough, Dune Riders comboed with Rangers can actually do a lot of work because the Dune Riders will give reroll wounds to the Rangers when they disembark. And so the combo pieces here get like, no one unit here is going to threaten many other units in the game. But the fact is he's got 3-to-1 on you. He's got 3 units for every of your units. And if he wheels that well, it's going to be really, really spicy.
So this is why there's not as many GSC players everywhere, because they're just playing other armies that do GSC. That's what I've discovered.
And I think Kara Draxus is like a bald psyker, you know. So.
Oh, I mean,
yes,
that sounds good to me, man.
So someone in chat, go onto Games Workshop's website and just find out how hard did Alex need to refinance his home and or car in order to buy this in Australian dollars. This is the most expensive army.
It is a lot of models.
Pretty much the most expensive army in the world to get for an Australian. Maybe GSC's equivalent, maybe it's not. I don't know. It depends how the internal balance is. But this is just so many models at like a phenomenal price. So well done to Alex, because if you're going to play AdMech in Australia, you commit. You're full commit.
That's
You're
cool.
like, oh well, I'm not getting 2,000 points and going to play something else. I'm all in for the long haul.
You said he was a faction expert, right? So that's why.
That's it.
May as
Absolutely
well.
is.
Not gonna do it with another army, so let's do it with this one.
Next one we're going to talk about is the Death Guard list.
It is. So this is Richard Hill, another lovely lad who's I've played on Teams events with. He's got his Death Guard Plague Company. And now this is an interesting one because this is going the other direction from the Plague Marines. A lot of people are going heavy into the Plague Marines. This is going the other way. This is going much more mechanized, but with some very spicy allies. He's got 3 Biological Putrefiers, well, one of them which has Living Plague. Got Mortarion and a Tallyman, a single unit of 5 Plague Marines and a Rhino, 2 Predator Annihilators, 2 shooty blow drones, sad face. No
Oh,
Yeah.
what?
You know, missed opportunity.
What?
I almost didn't put the list on here. I was reading through it like, oh, this is cool. This is cool. Spitters, out of here, deleted. 3 PBCs, 2 units of 2 Beasts of Nurgle. That is the spicy take here, and then 2x3 Nurglings to round it out.
Well, I mean,
You guys,
Nurgle.
yeah.
4 Beasts of Nurgle.
yes, you guys know what the little beasties of Nurgles?
I do.
Well, if you don't kill them,
they kill. Like that's
Yeah.
and they're
You
not
gotta kill them to the last wound.
because they're high.
So-
They don't have feel no pain anymore. I don't think, right?
I do not believe they do.
Yeah.
But the reason they are really good here is because the guns you need to kill them are the same guns that are going to need to kill Plague Burst Crawlers. You're going to need to kill Predator Annihilators. You're going to need to kill, blow drones.
That's a great
And so
point.
he's pushing the skew hard, being like, yo, he's how many? They got like, I'm just scrolling down to him now. 9 wounds, so 7 wounds each at toughness 9. They're essentially with a 5+ invulnerable save. They're essentially a Rhino to kill.
Mhm.
For all intents and purposes, they're pretty much a Rhino to kill. And if you don't do all 9 wounds, oh no, I did 8. It's 9 wounds again, because they do full regen. Yeah, at the end of each phase, you can't even half kill them in shooting, half kill them in fighting. You have
And
to
there's 2 of them.
each phase, and there's 2 of them.
Like there's
So
2 of
it's
them in the squad. So.
18 toughness 7 wounds.
I like that. When you want to hold an objective.
Yep.
When you want an area denial.
Correct. They're not cheap. 70 points a pop.
70 points a pop.
And they don't fight their way out of a wet paper bag.
No, well, look at this. The trade-off here is it's like typically you'd see 3 War Dogs in here, or Hellfrens, or whatever.
Yep.
And in this case, you don't. You see this other thing which helps support it. The forward could be the rest of your army, which is it's a trade-off.
He's got the Predator Annihilators instead of the Knights, right? So
yeah, Predator Annihilators and the blow drones instead of the Knights, and or Mythic Blight Haulers, depending which way you wanted to go with it. I like the Annihilators better. 130 points for a Predator Annihilator, and I think they're a value pick. They're pretty good right now, especially with the Mortarion rerolls.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so this whole thing's going to be bubbled around Morty, and then it's going to have the beasts up forward, and then a rhino just off on a flank. And yeah, I like it a lot. I think it's cute. I think it's pretty good, and it's hitting a skew at the right values for me because it has the beasts, it has the PBCs that are another level above, has the rhinos and the plague drones sitting in the middle of the durability skew. And so it's kind of overwhelming, but it's got like 3 different tiers of durability here. And then it's just got Morty, who's just going to be like, lol, did you kill enough tanks? And well, cool. Can't kill Mortarion anymore.
It does also the same things that you're going to be firing at Mortarion. You want to fire at the Predators and everything as well. It's like,
looking at this list, anytime you could shoot a tank and you choose to shoot Morty, I reckon is a mistake. I think Mortarion is actually the least dangerous part of this, unless you're letting him charge you. Unless if he's just shooting the lantern at you, you're like, sick, I'll cop that, and I'll stop some las cannons and some plague.
I may have, in all the times I've used Mortarion, I think I fired the lantern 3 times. I mean more than that, of course.
Yeah.
You're always charging with Mortarion, but that's how. Do they grind him down before they get to you? That's been the trade-off. Maybe that's a different math now. Maybe I'm thinking old. And that's I think what you were talking about is like, do you play that game with Mortarion or just let him do his thing, and try to contain him and mitigate him in certain areas because you need to be killing all this stuff that's going to be sitting on the objectives where Mortarion isn't.
I can say from my experience, I played Death Guard quite a bit too. I don't even touch Mortarion 90% of the time, unless everything else is dead.
Yeah,
interesting.
Unless that's the trick with Morty, making people shoot him. Because he's not like he's not like Angron. He's not going to one shot literally anything in base contact with him. He's good. He's fine in combat. He should be. I believe he should
big knight. It's going to take him two or 3 close combat phases to get through it.
Yeah, I'm of the opinion he should have more attacks in combat. I don't think he has enough attacks.
Well, that's the big thing, that he doesn't kill more than one thing a turn generally, right?
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. It's the same thing we can actually deal with Angron the same way. As long as you have one thing to put him where you need to put him, where it's not killing anything that's very valuable of yours, you just sacrifice that every turn.
I played Chaos Knights into World Eaters twice at a team's event recently, where I was playing with the Ultramarine player we covered, and I was like, sick. So I don't let Angron charge anything turn 1, and then if he kills 4 knights, 1 a turn for the rest of the game, I can probably live with that.
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks, but
as
long as he could kill 8, if you let him. So don't let him. Yeah.
There we go. Well, hopefully, now we can pick some winners here. What do we think is bringing this down in this like upside down flip-flop meta?
And I'm calling the AdMech. Let's go.
Oh, I'll go Astra Militarum.
You bastard. All right, fine. I'm going Death Guard.
This could be the week, and I should say could be the week. They actually won a couple of weeks ago. Death Guard,
indeed.
Maybe not. I don't know if this is gentleman, but the Death Guard did bring down a big event a couple of weeks ago, so it's like not out of the realm of reasonability.
What would you like, Paul?
Astra Militarum. That's what I'm going with.
Nice pick. Good picks, gents.
Yeah, so this is the point in the show where we take a break from all the crunchy numbers and the grind and the meta. We have a segment that we call the Fuego Rapido. This gives us an opportunity to kind of again, I said basically be silly for about 10 minutes or so. This is a nice little palate cleanser at the end of the show, end of the episode. We do this each and every week. Also, we give ourselves 2 minutes to talk about certain topics, and after the end of those 2 minutes, the topics disappear, only to be remanifested by Patreon subscribers again in the future if they so choose to do it. I did mention this earlier, but we do have a Patreon. If you're so called to do so, hope you can join us there. We also, of course, there's a bunch of hassle-free ways you can also interact with the show, which is leave us some 5-star reviews, likes, tell people about us, leave some comments in the chat. All the stuff helps the world go around. Thanks a lot for doing everything that you can. Sometimes these segments have themes to them.
This does have a theme with this one too. It is 2024 predictions.
All right.
Predictions.
All right.
That's what we do on this show. We predict things.
That's right. Don't guess. We don't guess.
We don't only chase the meta.
Yeah. We don't only chase the meta. And there's half and half. Half of them are Warhammer related, and the other half are host related. So.
Oh, okay.
First one. How many times will Paul mention tacos on stream in 2024?
Yeah.
Well, we almost made it through this episode without it. So
That's
We almost did.
I
almost
was going to
did.
say 51 out of 52 episodes of this year, but now it's going to be 52.
Now it's got to be the
Look,
yeah.
Warhammer's a social thing. Eating is a social thing. You know, they're basically the same thing.
Okay, you heard it here first, folks. Eating tacos is basically like playing Warhammer. All right.
It's basically 40K.
You want to do it with friends.
That's why we
get the
always call
shot-
these the crunchy stats, because it's tacos.
You want to travel to eat the tacos and play Warhammer.
Oh, now I'm hungry for tacos, though. See,
Yeah, I'm gonna go with 27. No, that's half. That's about half.
one over half.
17.
17?
So about a
That's
third.
it? Okay, I'm gonna go
Yeah. 40.
Because there'll be a
Ooh,
few.
okay.
I'm saying there's gonna be a few episodes that you don't.
Look, if the chat asks, we have to talk about it.
Yeah, chat's probably gonna influence this a little bit.
Thank you, Dustin. Every episode, we're just kind of people spamming taco in chat.
that is the new thing now in chat. We're gonna see how many people would mention tacos
more.
in chat.
No more F's in chat. No more, I'm going to XYZ event. It's just going to be walls of tacos.
Tacos. We need a taco emote in our chat.
We do. We actually. Oh wow, we do actually need that.
We actually do need to do that.
Can we get a Nightbot? Can we get a Nightbot to make tacos?
Nightbot tacos. We need tacos right now. All right. I think we covered that one, so we can go to the next one. Will Adam play more 40K or Old World in 2024?
Ooh,
It's all old world.
That's
for
a
him. I
hard
can
one.
say all, but it's gonna be a bit.
It's gonna be but is he gonna be playing it, or is he gonna be building ogres the whole time? Right?
these are the big questions, guys.
So
this is the stuff that
that's the
people
hard
need
part,
to know.
because he's still got to. I know he's doing a lot of hobbying stuff with his ogre army, and he has an idea for another one that he wants to do. So is he actually going to be playing as much as 40K, or is it going to be more hobbying in Old World? Right?
So you guys put your predictions in, then I'll tell you what I'm hoping to do.
Yeah. See, and KR made a good point in chat too, because DA is coming very soon, very soon. So, but you also kind of felt like you weren't playing DA lately. You're more feeling like Chaos Knights anyway.
I'm thinking more old world. I think old world is gonna get because it's a different game. Like we just did a review on FTN. Well, it'll be coming up this weekend, and it's a difference. It's gonna get people.
Oh, for sure. Well, especially all the old world folks, the fantasy folks, right? It's different, but it'll catch you for sure. It's been a long time since we had new rules for this kind of stuff, right? It's exciting. So this, because it's coming out this year, this is the year it would be just spammed in your house, right? You play it all the time. But
So
I do think it'll be 40K this year. I do.
as it is right now, I have almost no intentions of after the next weekend or two of playing any pickup games or any casual 40K. My entire casual gaming will be old world,
Of course.
but I don't expect to be playing any old world events. So all my events are still going to be 40K.
Exactly.
So if I'm doing approximately one event a month, which will be probably a 2-dayer. So what's that? So about 5 games a month of 40K.
Yep.
I reckon I can be playing more old world than that, mate.
That much, eh? Woo.
Yeah, baby. That's the hope at least.
Whew. That is a lot of old world. That's good.
I'm happy for you though, because I know you've been looking
Thank
forward
you.
to it.
Of course.
I'm so freaking pumped. So pumped. I bought a bunch of nonsense stuff that just had ogres in it. The pirate ogre is just holding a pistol. He's got a cutlass.
Yep.
I got no reason to buy that guy. I just bought it.
He looks cool.
Of course.
What do you mean no
Morpot.
reason?
I bought myself a Morpot. I'm
Okay.
gonna make a little diorama, unit filler out of it. It's gonna be sick. Getting stuck in, boys.
Can we getting stuck in? Of
Nice.
course you are. All right. Next up, will Dustin respawn more neophytes or acolytes in 2024?
I reckon neophytes.
Yeah, I think neophytes
straight
too,
up.
right?
Echoes are a little on the decline. I think we'll see what the points shall bring, but I can't see you running a list without 40 neos, right?
You are half correct. So
that's not correct at all, actually. In fact,
you are correct in the fact that I'm not bringing any less than 40 neophytes in any list. The difference is that my neophytes are pretty valuable to me, and I generally keep them safe in a lot of cases. Acolytes, on the other hand, I run so many MSU acolytes, and I throw them away.
But every 4 units of Akos is 1 unit of Neos.
Yeah, if they
You-
die.
you- you run
But the
20
thing is,
units of Neo, 5 of the Akos.
you're saying the neophytes are actually dying. They're not dying all that often. I literally will, out of my 40 acolytes. Actually, I have about 40 acolytes and 40 neophytes in my list, and out of both, all of my acolytes will die at least once. My neophytes, maybe one squad will die. Maybe.
Who are these people letting you respawn 40 Akos?
They don't have a
these
choice. I
people?
throw them at them, and then I roll a 3 up because it's turn 1 or round 1 or 2.
Nonsense.
I'm just like, who these people are not killing as neophytes. That's
Yeah.
Well, when
true.
you can't
Yeah.
shoot me, and I got you blocked in with Goliaths and Oculus.
People still
loan
shoot. I'm
option
talking about
stuff.
running over there with chainsaws,
Yeah, I mean, chainswords is a thing that I'm afraid of. That's why I have all those little acolytes standing in the way that die and then come back.
So the answer is Akos
Boy.
then.
I
Yep.
think.
In your
Well, I
estimation.
don't know for sure, but I'm thinking.
That's the
acolytes.
prediction. That's his.
But now
prediction.
every single game I play of 40K that people are listening to this episode right now are going to gun for the neophytes. Just ignore. They don't even care about the 5-man.
Just carry like one of those clickers on your hip that counts things. Like
Yeah,
you know.
yeah,
people
yeah.
I
or
need
whatever, like
2
they're
then.
out
One
in the
for
parking
neophyte, one
lots.
for acolyte. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll do that. I will do that.
Yeah.
Double clicker. Maybe
Yep.
my Fitbit can do it. Can my Fitbit do it? Is that a thing? I'll look into it.
Fitbit.
Fitbit.
All right,
So,
okay.
you get steps and respawns. So
And response. I
next
like
up, who will be the top performing faction of 2024?
that. Oh,
Okay, so this is a lot of
2024.
Yeah, there's a lot. Do we have the Codex roadmap? Do we know what's coming out?
We have
We
up
have
till
half
like
the
the
year.
summer.
Half
Yeah,
the
we have
year.
half the year.
yeah. 40K Codex roadmap.
So we have like Dark Angels are coming, GSC's coming, Sisters, Chaos Space Marines,
It's like orcs.
Orcs are coming. Orcs is a good pick for that actually because they're
They're already good right now.
already good. Yeah, when they get the Codex. Well, same with Sisters though. Like if Sisters stay as good as they are when they get their Codex.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So there's also Tau as well.
Oh, that's
Chaos
right.
Space Marines and Gene Stealer Cult as well. So they're all coming in first half of the year.
I mean, I want to say Gene Stealer Cult, but I know it's not going to be the case.
Could be
Y'all
though,
have-
because
Y'all have
it's-
given up on them. It's only the specialists that are staying on them now.
But I do think it's one of those armies though that has like the same thing we're talking with Guard, and we mentioned this from time to time, is that it has so many options in it that it's
It
easy
does.
for someone to kind of miss where they needed to bring their army for that particular event.
Mhm.
But that it's very possible that what a codex could do, much like an index or whatever,
Oh, for sure.
could distill it down to what tournament players consider fewer viable options, and so it's easier to have that
That's true.
hot
That's a
list.
good
That's
point.
good.
That's a good point.
A good take on.
I'm a
Well,
predict
we'll see.
Tau.
Tau?
I'm predict Tau. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hasn't been a Tau Codex. Full stop. That hasn't had a busted list out of it.
Right. I am actually going to say Sisters because they are already busted and their detachment doesn't make it busted. So if they
It's
get
true.
an
That's
attachment
true,
that,
actually.
that
Yeah.
busts
Yep.
them,
Yeah. If they get a
like
bloody rose.
Bloody
they're gonna-
Rose,
yeah,
I think we're all
yeah,
thinking
yeah.
that, right?
that's a
Waiting
good
for that
call,
one comma in the wrong spot or whatever. and-
actually.
That's
Hey.
it. That's it. They're just done.
Yep.
All right. And of
Fuego.
course, the opposite. Who will be the worst performing faction in 2024?
Orcs.
Adeptus Mechanicus.
Or
Yeah, I'm calling Admech for that.
really?
Yeah.
That's
You don't think
So
a
the
balanced
issue-
data slate or an FAQ could spin it all
Yeah,
around? They got all those
yes and
guns,
no.
man.
So the issue with Admech is that their stuff is already so cheap. You saw how much list was in that list. Their
Mhm.
stuff is already priced to sell. They would have to rewrite detachments to level them up,
Mhm.
or rewrite the army rule, because the army rule is one of the biggest issues. The army rule is kind of just is nothing because it only affects a third of the army, rather than being an army rule that would infect all of the army. So I think it's Admech, and because they've just got their codex, we know that unless the data slate changes them, that's what they are for the next 3 years.
Someone mentioned
So, yeah.
Drakari in the chat, and I think that's a strong pick.
That is
It
a strong
is.
pick
It's a
as
strong
well.
pick. I feel like because Drukari doesn't have a very big player base, the few that are still playing it are specialists, so it keeps their performance up higher over the course of the year. Because they do still have options, because they can bring some good things that people watch. Scary. He's bringing some pretty juicy stuff that works pretty well.
He's bringing some good stuff. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I mean, I still think Cabalites are amazing. Cabalites are really good.
Cabalites are really good.
The issue with that army is the entire lack of melee ability. They just can't punch. They need to level up their attacks and their strengths and their
Incubi are not what they used to be. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Space Wolves on this one. I was just kidding with orcs. So.
Space Wolves. I
just laying a boot into him, Paul.
I think I'm going to go
nowhere
with
near as good as
demons.
Blood Angels.
I'm going with demons.
Demons, yeah, because we like if they don't get a codex.
Yeah, they've been figured out. They don't have that much flexibility in terms of what they can do. They still have like tricks. They're not. Don't get me wrong. They're good, but I feel like in terms of overall performance, they'll probably be the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, if they do get a codex, it could be big, it could be huge,
absolutely
could be amazing.
Yeah.
But if you're almost flipping a coin as if they get a codex in the back end of the year or not. Yeah,
because if they get a codex, because it is their detachment that doesn't help them much.
Correct. The detachment does not help. And of course, I think I'm really hoping that their points increases that they got on the greater demons just get rolled back. Yeah, unnecessary.
Makes
All
sense.
Right. And the last but not least, which country will win WTC 2024?
There are 3 countries represented here on the show right now.
There are.
So I'm going to go out on a drastic limb and say it's probably not going to be mine. We're taking a bit of a rebuild year, a bit of a revamp, which most nations need to do every couple of years. They need to churn over some new blood. So definitely a thing. I mean, we've podiumed, or we've top 5 the last 3 we've been to, so no shame there. America are making a very strong case with the innovations the American team is doing to the selection process and the in widening of teams play in the continental US. That's going to be a big thing. But I always go Germany or Poland because I go with.
You got to pick one. So which country? Not
Poland.
Name 5 countries and try to get
which 2 countries.
All right. Only Germany has ever gone back to back. I'm picking Poland to go back to back to win again. Be the second nation to ever go back to back at the world level.
USA.
Of course.
Dustin?
I will say the Canadian team is actually looking pretty strong.
It looks pretty good.
It actually looks pretty strong. There are going to be some people that are going that still don't have WTC experience, and that is a big factor when you go for they're going to do well. I think we're going to do really well. Winning it this year, podium maybe. Yeah, podium maybe. I believe in us. Winning it, I think it has been too long since Germany has won, and they are due for a win.
They're thirsty. They're a little bit disappointed with last year.
Yeah,
and they came very close to winning 2 very tight rounds. That if they turned around, they would have just had the podium locked in.
Look at their run last year. They were. Yeah,
5% off.
I think
5% off playing for the win, man.
Exactly. Next year is going to be their year, I think.
Very interested to see how England does.
Yeah,
every year. Of course, none of us want them to win.
No, none of us want them to win. That's why we're not betting on them, because we don't want them to win. It's enough. But that is
the triumvirate of colonialism every year.
A pleasure to be back into it, talking about the events, talking about list, talking about the players. And I think one of the things maybe we can strive to do as much as we possibly can over the course of this year is to bring, some context to the players and stuff too. It's this is something that, if you are going to these events and you're in the chat, let us know. If you feel like calling your shot or letting us know about rivalries in your area, please let us know that. I mean, friendly rivalries, of course. It's sometimes these things generate and happen between people and as you play in events, and someone is always your nemesis there in round 3 or round 5 or whatever. We want to hear about that kind of stuff. Look forward to talking to y'all live as we do this each and every Thursday. Look forward to seeing the comments and the 5-star reviews and all that stuff. It means a whole lot to us. It's been my pleasure hanging out with you, Adam and Dustin, for this hour.
Gentlemen.
Always a pleasure. Love doing this show with you, and I love doing the show for everybody in here too. Love you guys hanging out with us. Thanks for helping us figure out some of the things we just can't think of at the time. I can't be bothered to look it up because we're live. We don't want to make you guys wait that long.
It makes a world go around. It's a collaborative show. Hope y'all have a great rest of y'all's evening. We will see y'all next week. Good night, everybody.
See yous.
Good night.